I want to give you some things that you can use right away to help you become a more powerful speaker. And we're gonna work on Zoom right now. Like, how do we make you show up more on Zoom? Because there's so much Zooming it up these days. The first thing that I want you to do is make sure that your camera is at eye level. So if you're wanting to play with us and you want to, come on camera, go for it. If you don't, that's okay too. But the most important thing is that you're at eye level. You don't want the camera, well, you don't want to be looking way up at the camera. You don't want to be looking down at the camera. You just really want to have it eye level. The other thing is that this is all the space you have now. This is it. So you want to use it, right? You want to use the space as best you can. So be sure that you don't have a lot of space above your head, because that's a valuable real estate, valuable. So here's what happens. Just watch me when I take up less space and notice whether I have more power or less power. So here I am, and this is what most people are doing. They're kind of like this. They're not really showing up. They're just kind of in a meeting and, they're kind of there. And just notice if I have as much power as I do when I'm like this. So, lean into the camera. I never have my back against the chair if I'm speaking. I just want to be front and center, straight spine, lots of energy running through so that I can channel it out. Okay, so take up that space. And the other thing is what most people do, and this is a real pitfall for most people, and that is that they are always looking at whoever they're speaking to, or they're looking at themselves, right? Because there's comfort in looking at ourselves. So they're either looking at themselves or they're looking at the people that they're in conversation with. And what happens is instead of seeing their eyes and getting that transmission, right? That transmission through their eyes, instead they're seeing their eyelids. So if I'm looking down, looking at you, you are not seeing my eyes. And all of a sudden I lost at least 60, 70% of my power. So be sure that when you're speaking that you're actually looking into the camera, or just right below the camera. That usually works too. You could look at that, the little line of images right below the camera. That should work too. So that's super, super important. And then a lot of people say, well, how do I connect? How do I connect with people if I'm looking in the camera and not at them? My answer to that is connect with them when they're speaking. Like, look at them when they're speaking. And then when you're speaking, just be sure that you're front and center with the camera. And then the other thing is lighting. You want to have good lighting. And if you don't, you might want to work on it, because if you're shadowed, if you are just dark, right? Then again, you're not going to have the presence. So I have a ring light. I'm just going to turn it off. I'm not sure if I'll be dark or not. So here's my ring light off. And okay, and here it's on. So, and there's different shades. So find lighting that's flattering. I like the ring lights. You can get them almost anywhere, and they're $20 or $30, and they will light you up no matter where you are. So those are my 3 tips for Zoom.